With DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, and this is the episode I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for. You've been requesting from me, so I decided I gotta make it for you guys. And today what I'll be doing is I'm comparing the all-new NAMA M1 plant milk maker. Literally took NAMA 3 years from the time they decided to start this project till now when they came out with it. So literally 3 years in the development, they basically checked out all the other nut milk makers and plant milk makers on the market and came up with the ideal one that saves you guys time, that makes it even easier than any other appliance out there. And we're going to compare that to the Almond Cow. This is the best-selling, one of the best-selling nut milk makers out there. Almond Cow claims to have sold over 300,000 almond cows out there. And I mean, I've used this before, and after using it, like, I personally wouldn't spend my hard-earned money to buy this. And I feel sorry for people that did, because after this episode, you're going to be like, man, don't waste your money on the Almond Cow, get the NAMA. But let's just go ahead and see, because I'm going to explain to you guys the main differences. While they are both nut milk makers or plant milk makers, NAMA designed this from literally the ground up for 3 years. How did Almond Cow come up with this? Well, I don't know exactly, but what I will surmise is that there have been machines like this out over in Asia that basically are designed to make soy milk. They would basically, they have the same exact design where you fill the water up, you fill the soybeans in there, and the old ones would actually heat up, because you gotta heat up soybeans to make the milk, or else you can't drink the soy because it's quite toxic. So what they did, Almond Cow, was they basically took out the heating element, so you can't make soy milk, but you could just grind up the nuts and now make a nut milk, right? And hey, this is great, and they've sold a lot, and you know, just selling 300,000 units tells me that people really want to make plant milk at home, and before there was any other better alternatives, right, they sold, and surely people were happy with these. There's lots of good reviews. That being said, when I've used it, I've been disappointed. And let me go ahead and now explain the difference between these two and how they're similar, but also how they're a lot different. First, I'll start with the Almond Cow. Basically, in the Almond Cow, you have a main like stainless steel, which is nice, pitcher here, and there's a line that says minimum and maximum. This is how much water you need to put in this machine, or it will not function at all. If you fill water below the minimum line, the machine won't work. You're not going to extract anything, because you need to have enough water in there so that it sloshes around in this little filter cone and is able to grind things up. So that means you need to add literally a minimum of 5 cups of water, or even 6, right? Minimum. Then you're going to be creating 40 to 48 ounces of nut milk, right? Now, that's the liquid you're putting in, and you can't just put the liquid and the solids together. You need to actually put the solids inside this separate component, inside this little jar here, and actually this little container is marked up to 1 cup, but you could probably put in maybe 2.5 cups of material in there, and then you need to shove it in here and close it. So how this works is that this grinds up, this spins around as it's running, grinds up the nuts you're putting in here, because the water is sitting up to the level over here. It's basically agitating this all into the water and now extracting some of the nut pulp and nutrients into the water to make your nut milk. When you're done, you take this off, and as I'll show you guys, I'm not making this up, you're gonna see this mixture is gonna be, you know, just very wet, not wrung out, because literally what this is literally a blender that is just blending up your ingredients. There's no straining function in it. It just does it a little, basically it gravity strains all the holes in here, strains out, and you're left with a very wet pulp, and also a very, I would say, unextracted materials left in here because of the way it works. I will give it to the Almond Cow that they have a simple operation. You press one button, it either works for about a minute or it's off. So you don't have to be a rocket scientist to use this, because it's super simple, super easy to use. And of course, you know, the thing with this is that it only has a 1-year warranty. When you're spending this much on an appliance and it's stainless steel and at least looks this good, you would hope that it had a longer warranty on it. So as you guys learned, the Almond Cow is simply just a blender. It grinds things up, but it doesn't really strain things out. It just basically gravity strains. You could basically blend things up in a blender and put in a sieve and then just let it strain out actually would be better, in my opinion, than an Almond Cow. Because at least in a blender, it's gonna grind up better because it's blending in water. With this, the blending is up here and it's only diluting into the water. So everything in that little container is not getting optimally blend up. Anyways, let's go ahead and show you guys how NAMA, after 3 years, came up with the best solution to make plant milk. They just totally didn't even, they looked at the other ones, they're like, man, no, those other ones are messed up. We're gonna do it the right way. So literally what they created here is their M1, and this machine has a full 15-year warranty, guys. I mean, that is really the game changer. This warranty is 15 times longer than the Almond Cow, and I'll tell you guys, the price is actually not 15 times more, so this is a good thing. And you know, if you guys don't know who I am, my name is John Kohler, and I started my website, Discount Juicers, to get you guys the lowest price on juicers as well as other appliances that allow you to process more plant foods at home. And if you guys have been thinking about buying a plant milk maker, now is the time. The NAMA has just been released. Hopefully it's not sold out. And if you guys want to get it for the lowest price, make sure you guys use the coupon NOTCOW, because this is not an Almond Cow, to save 10% off. And not only will you save about $40 off the NAMA M1, NAMA will share me a small commission so I can continue to make these educational videos for you guys, to educate you guys and share with you guys the truth about all the different appliances out there. So on with the NAMA M1. How this works literally is you take off the lid on the top here, and now you fill all your ingredients, right, into one chamber. You don't have to put the water in, then you don't have to separate and put the materials in another chamber. You just dump it all in. That's super simple. Next, we're gonna go ahead and take this apart. You guys can see they have the blender cage, and they have a blade here running around. So this is basically a blender that runs at 10,000 RPM to basically grind up all the nuts and water or seeds or other materials you put in this unit. So it blends it up. Now it blends it up while it is sitting in liquid, not suspended above the liquid. That's a very important distinction between these two machines. The next thing it does, it blends for about a minute. You can adjust the time from 5 seconds to a minute. Normally for most nut milks, you'll do a minute. For something like oats, you would do 30 to 40 seconds. And then the second step is, this is all running inside here. The next step is, this is centrifuge. So this then spins around 2,000 RPMs, basically getting the pulp super dry. So now this is not only blending, but it's blending and straining or spinning and getting it almost as dry as you squeezing it out of a nut milk bag, which I'll actually show you guys the difference between squeezing the pulp out of this and squeezing the pulp out of the NAMA when we're done. I mean, that is literally the revolutionary technology. And you thought that was not good enough, right? This machine makes nut milk in under 2 minutes, which is insane. And this machine takes me like a minute to clean. So in literally 3 minutes, you can have your own nut milk simply and easily. No more blending, transferring, straining, and wringing. 100% done all automatically. That is why literally this is changing the plant-based milk industry, like the NAMA J2 juicer changed the juicing industry, because literally you can load everything into the J2, shut the lid, turn it on, walk away, and you can have up to a quart of juice made. So in the NAMA M1, you can make as much as 36 ounces of milk, or as little as 16 ounces of milk. And the other thing about this is that your dilution ratio will be between 1 to 2 if you're making a plant-based creamer. Normally it is between 1 to 3 or 1 to 4, whereas in the Almond Cow, you don't have that range of flexibility from 1 to 2 to 1 to 4. So that means you can make something really rich, thick, and creamy, whereas in the Almond Cow, you're all the way up at like 1 to 5 or 1 to 6, which to me, you might as well just drink water at that point. So that's really the main differences between these two. And let's not even mention, like, the motor inside the Almond Cow is actually in this little apparatus here. This is rated at 240 watts, whereas the motor in the NAMA M1, right, down in here, has a 600 watt motor here. Once again, 1 year warranty on the motor and a full 15-year warranty on the NAMA M1. I mean, really, I don't want to discount the warranty length, because that means you are assured a product that's going to work throughout its lifetime of 15 years to make all the plant milks and nut milks to your heart's content. So now we're going to go ahead and do a head-to-head comparison between the Almond Cow and the NAMA M1. and we're gonna use basically 5 cups of water, which brings us to the minimum mark in the Almond Cow. And on the NAMA M1, we're gonna go ahead and use 3 cups of water because I like my nut milks thick. You could add up to 4, but I always prefer to use less water than more myself. And maybe you too, if you want a nice thick nut milk instead of having it taste like watered down non-fat dairy milk, all right? Then the other thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and add about 1 cup of nuts, 3 dates, and some raspberries in the machine. So now you know you can make your own custom milks. That's the reason why I want you guys to get a nut milk maker, is because you could make your own custom blends of whatever nuts and seeds, herbs and spices, fresh fruits, dried fruits, matcha powder, coffee beans, whatever you want. You know, it is literally at your fingertips. Of course, one of these machines, as we will learn, will process the ingredients better than the other, but let's find out, all right? So in the Almond Cow, we're gonna load it up first. We're gonna first take the water, and we need to dump that in the big carafe right at the minimum mark. Next, we need to go ahead and take this apart, and now we need to fill all the ingredients inside this little stainless steel sieve here. So we're just gonna go ahead and dump this upside down. As you guys can see, like this is maxed out. Like you really can't put more than this in here. Generally they want you to put a cup, maybe this is a little bit more than a cup. And you know, in the NAMA, as you learn, you could put up to 2.5 cups. And then what you need to do is now you need to finagle this blade assembly in here and kind of get it down in there, because like you need to basically, this needs to lock into place. So now like I gotta like, this is a little bit hard to get it in there, all right. I think I got it locked in. All right, so we're locked and loaded on there. A little bit of difficulty. That did take a little bit of time to finagle that, but check it out. The comparison on the NAMA M1, literally we take all our ingredients, just drop them in there, simple. Take all our water, drop it in there. It doesn't have to go in a separate compartment or chamber. Make sure your spout is shut. We're gonna go ahead and put a catch cup there. Next step is we're gonna put our lid on our NAMA and make sure the NAMA is turned on. It'll tell us hello. And then it is ready to go. So we default to 1 minute. And I will say the Almond Cow is super simple. You just press 1 button, and we're gonna press the same button on the NAMA, which also is super simple. At the same exact time, you can see the NAMA work, but you can't see the Almond Cow work. The NAMA will run on the blend cycle for 60 seconds straight, whereas the Almond Cow will blend for 20 seconds, pause, 20 seconds, pause, 20 seconds, pause. All right, so let's get blended. All right, the Almond Cow had a failure. The container came off. So, oh my gosh, and then because the container came off, the blades hit the assembly. So let's go ahead and try to, man, put that back on and put it in. Almond Cow, not super simple to use. All right, the NAMA is done blending, and now when it's done blending, it'll say open spout. So now the NAMA we will release all the nut milk that we created. It'll drain out for approximately 10 seconds. And now this is the trick. This is something the Almond Cow does not have. At the end of 10 seconds now, the centrifuge comes on. 2,000 revolutions per minute. It is now spinning the opposite direction from when it was blending up to extract all the nut milk to get the pulp completely dry. As you guys can see, the Almond Cow ran 3 cycles of 20 seconds and then it shut off because it is done. And now we could go ahead and open this up. I think when it originally opened up, I think some of our materials went into the nut milk. As you guys can see, this is like dripping. So there's no way really to stop the dripping. It's just gonna drip and you gotta just let it sit here for minutes and minutes. The base is still plugged in, so we're just gonna try to pour the milk in here. Oh, and I got big particulate and things because it came open. So this is definitely not a good test because pretty much everything's still in there. All right guys, so I had an epic fail on the Almond Cow. Basically the thing came open while we were going. I mean, I thought I put it on tight, but maybe it needed to be tighter, maybe it was overfilled. I'm not really sure. And so all the nuts kind of went into the bottom It didn't get blended, so what I've done is I basically took out all the nuts and particulate from the water, put it back in that little cone thing, in the little cup, the stainless steel cup. Now I'm going to re-blend it. So this is actually going to blend twice in this situation instead of just once. So literally it's going to blend for 2 minutes instead of 1 minute like the NAMA. So it's going to maybe have it one up on the NAMA because it basically has double the amount of time to blend things up because I messed up. So let's see how it does. All right, so we did the 3 cycles of 20 seconds each. Now let's see what we got. Hopefully it worked better this time. All right, as you guys can see, it worked pretty good. We're getting some kind of nut pulp actually out of the top. Interesting, it's seeping out. I saw some of it come out on the counter as it's going. Maybe that's why it blends for 20 and then lets it rest and settle down so it's not fully agitated. As you guys can see, this is still just dripping. And so we're just going to go ahead and pour our milk in to see what we got here. We've got lots of milk there. No particulate, but we are still dripping. All right, so we could compare the milks. I mean, yes, the NAMA definitely did make less milk, but that was purposely because I didn't want it super diluted with extra water. We're gonna go ahead and pour this out for you guys, show you guys the difference. Here's the NAMA. Seems to have like a little bit more viscosity, like a little bit thicker milk there. And then over on the Almond Cow, definitely a lot thinner. I'm still picking up that it's a little bit thick, and we could fill it up and we still have extra there. Now, the nut milk we made is interesting, but what is even more interesting is the pulp. So with the NAMA, they give you a special mat that folds into a bag. Link down below to my original unboxing video where I discuss this more. We're gonna go ahead and first take out the Almond Cow, which is still kind of dripping. And we're gonna see what we got. Because it's blended only, you can see we have this whole mixture in here that's still dripping, that's quite wet. All this stuff is around the blade. This blade is quite sharp, so you don't wanna do this at home because you might cut your finger. We have all this stuff stuck on the housing here, right? And then we have all this material inside here that now we gotta tap out. And even if we tap it out, there's still crud left in the bottom. So now we gotta use an additional tool. We gotta use a spatula to basically spatula all this nut pulp out of the Almond Cow. All right, I think we got it out. And you can see this is pretty much empty now. We're just gonna go ahead and check that back in there. Now we still gotta clean all this out. And that was just a mess. You can see we have a nice blob of almond pulp. Next, let's go ahead and check out the NAMA. What's left in the NAMA after processing? So we take off the lid, we could pull out the blade assembly and the stainless steel screen. If you guys could look inside there, all the pulp is neatly, right? Not uglily, neatly on the side of the centrifuge because it literally got spun out. Then all you do is you basically take this and you spin it out. You spin as you're pulling, and look at this. This blender cage actually acts as a squeegee as you're pulling it out. And all the nut pulp that is completely dry literally just falls right out in nice large chunks, right? And you guys can see in the bottom of this, there's barely anything left. Okay, so this is literally the difference you're gonna get between the Almond Cow and the NAMA. I don't know if you guys can see the difference there. This is literally sopping wet. Liquid is dripping out of this. And over on the NAMA, it's super dry. So now I want to prove this to you guys, and we're going to squeeze this out. All right, so today I'm going to use an Alexa's bag. This is the normal way I'd make nut milk with a vacuum blender. An Alexa's bag, and you basically put everything in here, and then you squeeze it out. You no longer need to do that with the NAMA M1 because it does all the squeezing for you when it gets it super dry. So we're gonna go ahead and take a little container here, and we're gonna go ahead and put our nut milk bag inside here. And then we're just gonna go ahead and take out the NAMA pulp and drop it inside. Pretty much got all the NAMA pulp in there. And now we're gonna go ahead and squeeze out the NAMA pulp. I mean, if I put it in here, it's not even dripping because it's already so dry. And now I'm gonna do my best to squeeze it out as hard as I can. I got some pretty good grip strength because I've squeezed out lots of things and juices and nut milks, but literally we're getting barely any drips, and I'm squeezing this out to the maximum that I can. I mean, it's pretty doggone dry, guys, and honestly, you guys pretty much don't want to do this because you're just getting your hands dirty, and you're making like 2 teaspoons. All right, so I don't think I'm really gonna get any more out of that. And let's go ahead and show you guys how much extra nut milk was in the pulp of the Nama. Not much. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and dump out the Nama pulp. It's even more dry. And now we're gonna go ahead and scoop in this super wet pulp from the Almond Cow. Let's see, I'm gonna need a tool to do that because it's so wet. All right, so we're gonna use a spatula to get all that nut pulp out because it is so wet. I'm gonna once again put our nut milk bag inside the bowl here. Now we're gonna spoon out this super wet pulp into the bag. There's a lot more quantity of this pulp despite being the same quantity going in, and that's because there's significantly more liquid in this pulp from the Almond Cow that we even blended 2 times, right? Instead of 1, so you'd think that Almond Cow has the advantage. Anyways, let's go ahead and squeeze this out. Oh my gosh, guys, look at that. This is insane. It's like I'm really milking a cow and there's so much milk coming out. I couldn't do this in the Nama. And let's go ahead and squeeze some more and see how much more milk I could get out. All right, so I think I got this about as dry as the Nama pulp. Dry, super dry. And now let's go ahead, we could just go ahead and dump this out. And actually, you know what? Now both pulps look fairly similar. Actually, the Nama pulp is still a bit drier, as you guys could see there. But here's the thing, let's go ahead and see how much nut milk was still left in the Almond Cow. Once again, this is the nut milk made in the Almond Cow, nut milk made in the Nama, and then we had, of course, some extra nut milk. And so here's all the, oh my gosh, guys, this is like over a half a cup. Oh my gosh, look at that. This is the big difference you guys are gonna get when you guys buy the right machine, designed literally from the ground up. Took Nama 3 years to come out with this instead of a machine that was designed for making soy milk that, yes, does work for nut milk, but you guys can see this is how much liquid is left in the pulp because it does not have that very essential straining feature or pressing feature, you know, that is done with the centrifuge automatically in the Nama M1. Of course, the Nama M1 takes me about a minute to clean that I showed in my original unboxing video, and I expect the Almond Cow maybe to take that much or actually a little bit more time. I think next up I want to go ahead and taste test the nut milks for you guys. This is the Nama nut milk. Wow, I'm really tasting the raspberries in there. Really nice flavor. And then now we're going to go ahead and taste the Almond Cow. Oh my gosh. That's a big difference, guys. So really what I'm tasting is the creaminess that is in the Nama M1, but not in the Almond Cow. You guys have known if you had an Almond Cow or have made nut milk with like using like 4 cups of water and use like a half a cup of nuts, right? That's going to be a very diluted nut milk, whereas if you use like 4 cups of water and 2 cups of nuts, right, it's gonna be a lot more concentrated. So that is really the flavor I'm getting with the Nama. It's just a lot better tasting, more richer. You're extracting more of the goodness out of the nuts and the other ingredients, such as in this case, the dates and the raspberries that you're gonna put in when making your nut milk. I think I really can't say anything else because this test talked for itself. I did have some issues with the Almond Cow. If you don't lock that thing on properly, tight enough, or if you overfill it, it comes loose, makes a mess. And with the Nama, it'll work perfectly every single time. Of course, with the Almond Cow, you gotta fill the ingredients separately. With the Nama, you just dump all the ingredients. With the Almond Cow, it does a halfway decent job at grinding up, but with the Nama, it really grinds things up into a nicer texture, and also, of course, makes things thicker. And of course, the claim to fame with this machine compared to any other nut milk out there, maker out there, I don't care which one you compare it to, is that literally it gets the pulp that you take out super dry without much liquid left in it because it has been centrifuged to get it that way. Once again, NAMA worked really hard to make the ultimate plant milk maker so that you guys could drink more nuts and seeds and other plants such as oats and even rice with their device, and I think they have definitely succeeded. So at the end of this episode, I have to declare a winner, and clearly you guys saw that I would definitely not pick the Almond Cow after all the challenges I've had on it. And here's the thing, this is the second Almond Cow I've owned. I owned another Almond Cow, and in that test, the little nut that holds on the blade assembly fell off during the processing, which is a whole nother issue. So I personally am concerned about some of the safety and quality control on the Almond Cow. Once again, it only has a 1-year warranty where you have a full 15 years on the NAMA M1 plant milk maker. So if you guys want to buy the NAMA M1 at the lowest price, make sure you guys use the coupon code NOTCOW, because this is definitely not the Almond Cow and has much better performance, easier use, easier cleaning, and much longer warranty to save $40 off the NAMA M1 plant milk maker and get, of course, that full 15-year warranty that there's no other nut milk maker on the market that can even come close to having a warranty like that. That's because NAMA knows that they put quality into every single machine, and there will be here for many years to come. So I think that's pretty much it for this episode. If you guys want further episodes with the NAMA M1, put your comments down below. Let me know what you would like me to make nut milk out of in the NAMA M1. I'm excited to try because, once again, with this machine, you could be so creative and make your own combinations of nut seeds, fruits, dried fruits, herbs and spices, even coffee at home, and it makes it super simple and super easy. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. More importantly, share this video with other people that are looking for the ultimate nut milk maker so that they don't waste their time buying equipment that may not work properly or do the best job for what they say they're gonna do. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss out on my new and upcoming episodes. I'll be coming out every 5 to 7 days. You never know where I'll show up, what you'll be learning, what new product I'll be unboxing, what new products I'll be comparing against each other so that you guys can have the best information to make the best purchase decision. Make sure you click the little bell so you get notified as the video videos come out. And finally, be sure to past episodes. Past episodes are open knowledge. Over 800 episodes at this time on this channel dedicated to teaching you guys all about the different appliances to allow you to process more fruits and vegetables and other plant foods at home. I'll put a link down below to my original unboxing of the NAMA M1 that you definitely will not want to miss because I show clearly how easy it is to clean. So with that, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.